common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
We have with us now Dr. Marc Siegel. Dr. Siegel, we got to get to the other medical issues with you because Karine Jean-Pierre, during the press briefing today, was hammered about these reports in the White House visitor logs that a Parkinson's expert apparently came in 10 times in the last year. She wouldn't confirm if it had anything to do with President Biden. She would only say, well, there were neurological exams during his physical. She was hammered. And she said finally was like screaming back. Your reaction as to the forthcoming or not forthcoming nature of the White House and on his medical condition that we all see, Dr. Siegel.
Well, let me give you some overview. I'll take it back from what you just said to 10,000 feet. I think that there's an issue. We need to be really angry at the White House and at the First Lady for the way they're managing this situation. In terms of the president himself, I don't know him. I didn't examine him, but he's looking like someone that's in denial. And if he's in denial, and he is in fact cognitively impaired to the extent that we think he is, dementia, then we actually have to feel bad for him and feel compassion for him and feel angry at the White House because they're trying to keep us from knowing it. Lack of transparency. That's what bothers me a lot. In terms of the actual medical part of this, let's keep in mind something, which is that Kevin O'Connor wrote in physicals twice now that this was not Parkinson's. He wrote that in what is essentially the medical record. And, if Judge Weinberg is there, I'm sure his ears are perking up because you're not
Explain who that guy is. Explain who he is.
Who, Judge Weinberg?
No, him too. Depending on the day.
Kevin O'Connor is the president's physician. He's the White House physician.
Exactly.
And he puts out letters that are official about the yearly physical. And I checked just to make sure because I knew I was coming on here, and that's part of the medical record. The judge will tell you that's part of the medical record. And you're not supposed to lie in the medical record. So if he says he doesn't have Parkinson's twice, last year and this year, he better not have Parkinson's. Now, a Parkinson's expert comes to see him, and that's a pretty narrow specialty. But I think that his presentation is more consistent with something else, which is the long-term impact of those aneurysms he had repaired or the irregular heartbeat that he has, atrial fibrillation. Those could lead to not enough blood flow to parts of the brain that can cause what's called vascular dementia. That goes a lot more with the way he's walking, the way he's acting, this confabulation, the spatial problems. They can't finish a sentence. I mean, it looks to me more like that than Parkinson's. By the way, one other thing is Parkinson's wouldn't require 20 visits. If a Parkinson's expert comes, and he doesn't have a tremor, they would examine his upper extremities to see if he has something we call cogwheel rigidity. Does his arms get very rigid when you try to move them? And he would know that right away. And again, I mean, I don't think it's Parkinson's, but if it is, how dare anybody lie in the medical record, right, Judge?
Yeah, that's a question. Correct, by the way, they're looking into that. And in fact, the reason I wanted to ask about the Kevin O'Connor, the doctor, is because the Republicans, there is some James Comer and others are trying to get some details about him because they're claiming there was some business background.
No, that's even more troubling to me that they're supposed to be seeing this person as a medical physician. Why is he engaged in financial or business transactions with his patient? I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, we doctors think of these things the same way you judges do. There's got to be a complete separation there. One other thing about that is the lack of an MRI. I've been saying this over and over and over for 3 or 4 years now. These physicals are written up in really strange ways from a physician's eyes. Judge, like when you look at a transcript of a trial or something, you know right away if it's fishy. And I don't like a medical letter that doesn't include the word MRI. Oh, the neurologist saw him. Oh, the neurologist examined him. Oh, a complete neurological workup, but no mention of cognitive testing and no mention of imaging. If a neurologist is called to see someone that's having symptoms, even a headache, the first thing they do is an MRI.
Right. Isn't that's absolutely essential. It's one of the primary things you have to do, doctor. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. Anybody that has symptoms that sound like they're neurologic or on exam. Now they keep saying his exam is normal except for that gait that's due to supposedly a broken leg. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but my wife is a neurologist and she's been watching that. We don't like to make diagnoses over video, but it certainly looks like there's something wrong with his gait, and it doesn't look like a Parkinsonian type.
Doctor,
of
you just raised an interesting issue. There's been a big fight about releasing the audio of the interview of the president by the special counsel, her. And the White House has been fighting that. Garland, the Attorney General, has been fighting that, claiming a ridiculous argument. This is executive privilege, and it's not. So the answer is, what are they hiding, and how long have they been hiding it?
I think they've been hiding it for years, but I don't understand what the purpose is. I mean, I don't know. Listen, we understood this with Woodrow Wilson, right? Woodrow Wilson goes to France and he screws up the Paris Peace Conference because he had Spanish flu and he developed hallucinations. He comes back, he has a stroke. His wife is running the presidency. He's whispering instructions to her. It sounds like a bad movie. One of the greatest presidents of our history is reduced to that. But that was in 1919. Haven't we learned anything in terms of transparency?
No,
they did
we
the
haven't
same thing
learned
with
anything.
Roosevelt, didn't they?
No, we haven't learned anything. It looks like, to me, what it looks like is Joe Biden has decided that she doesn't want to leave as first lady, and she's enlisted Hunter Biden to help in that endeavor.
Yeah, there's so many questions, guys. Well,
and the only way they can get him out is if the Vice President of the United States declares
she has to go around
25th.
25th Amendment. She has to chase up the cabinet.
And she has to have
the majority
of the cabinet agree with her, and I don't think they're going to get that done.
Yeah, and also then it's a concession that they're aware of his situation.
Exactly.
Well,
by the way, and I know I'm stepping outside my lane here. For Kamala, I don't think it matters, because if he were to run and win, which actually seems impossible at this point, by the way, she's going to become the president anyway. How long is he going to last?
That's exactly right. If you're voting for Biden, you're voting for Harris for president.
So she's not going to double cross it because it'll backfire on her. Thank you, Dr. Siegel, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Great to be on with you guys.
Thank you.
This is Greg Kelly for Priority Gold. What does it mean to be America's precious metals dealer? It means that you're in touch with the hearts and minds of those who love this country, value our freedom, and want to protect the future. Priority Gold is that precious metals dealer. They've helped thousands of Americans back their retirement with solid gold and silver. Call Priority Gold at 888-506-6439. Receive free shipping, free storage, a free investment guide, and one of the best purchase experiences in the industry. Call now or go to PriorityGold.com.